so you understand where it's coming from, although you're not supposed to memorize the definition. But I would like to show you what it is. Okay, so let's say we have a function f of x, and I'm going to pick 2 points, one called P and one called Q, on the function, one with the x-coordinate x, the other one with the x-coordinate x plus h. Now I would like you to tell me what is this and what is this value. In other words, I would like you to give me the y-coordinate of P and the y-coordinate of Q. Before you answer, allow me to say this. If a point is on a function and I give you x equals 5, remember the point is on the function, and I say x equals 5, please determine the y-coordinate. How will you determine the y-coordinate? So I'll give you, for example, the function f of x equals x plus 2. And I say x equals 5. And I'm asking you to find the y. What would you do? Right, so you'll get 7. Right? So the point will be x comma f of x. Right? Or 5 comma f of 5. Right? Good. So then if this is x, then what is this? F of x. If this is x plus h, what will this be? Exactly. F of x plus h. Good. So we have 2 points. Point P, x comma f of x. Point Q, x plus h comma the value at that point. So now we are going to connect these 2 points. And I would like you to give me the slope of the line PQ. Anyone remembers the definition of the slope? y2 minus y1 over? Very good. That's all I want you to say. And please put them in. And I will write it. What would you say? Very good. Over x plus h minus. It happens that these two go away. So this is f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. You do not have to memorize this. It will be given to you. But it's called the difference quotient. What does it mean? What does it represent? So the difference quotient. The difference quotient. What does it represent? And you can say, it's the slope of this line. True. But the meaning, the actual meaning is the rate of change of function f of x between P and Q. Meaning, the rate of change of f of x with respect to x between P and Q. You don't need to memorize the definition of the difference quotient. It will be given to you. But what we need to do in this class is determine the difference quotient and simplify it for different functions. But I just didn't want to give you f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Difference quotient. And you should have asked, what is it? And instead, I presented this graph with the 2 points P and Q and finding the slope of this line. That's what it gives us. And what does the slope of this line mean? What is the meaning? It's the rate of change of f of x between P and Q. So let's choose a function from page 250. I lied. 252, I'm sorry. 71 through 92. But I'd like to start with a quadratic function. So please choose a quadratic function first. 71 through 92. Okay, have we chosen one? I needed more paper. 72 it is. In 72, that's not a quadratic function. So that's okay. Let's choose 82. So we have f of x equals negative x squared minus 3x plus 1. Good. So the difference quotient will be given to you. So you will be told, find and simplify the difference quotient dq, which is f of x plus h, minus f of x divided by h. The first thing we should do, let's look at what it is and what it represents, if you want, or what it has. And I will say it has how many pieces? How many pieces? I see a piece, I see another piece, and I see a third piece. So I would say the difference quotient has 3 pieces. Which of these 3 pieces I can touch? I can't do anything to. And which one needs work? Because I don't have it. So which of these 3 pieces you think? They are given to us, 2 pieces are given to us, and one of them is really not. We have to determine.
You use the negative 3x plus 1.
You're talking about the 8, right?
I'm talking about piece number 1. I'm talking about piece number 2. And I'm talking about piece number 3. Which of these 3 needs work?
The f of x plus 8.
Of course. This is very clear. It's just this piece will be replaced, and with a minus in front that needs to be distributed. This is just a poor letter. I can't do anything to it. So these 2 are done. What I don't have is indeed f of x plus h. Awesome. Thank you. Great job, El. So then now what? Same idea over and over. What does this function say? It says negative blah squared minus 3 times blah plus 1. But what is my blah now? Well, my blah now is x plus h. So please tell me how to write this.
X plus h squared.
But in parentheses, because I'm replacing this piece. X plus h squared minus
Minus 3x plus h.
parentheses. X plus h plus 1. Awesome. I need to fully simplify this and then go back and replace this piece by it. And then I have to put all the 3 pieces together. I know it's the first example. I know what you're going to say. Good. So then, how do I simplify this? And before you say anything, please don't say anything. Please don't say anything. First day of classes. So now please tell me what to write.
Negative.
I cannot distribute once I have a power. So,
So it's x squared plus x, or 2x plus h squared.
excellent. Thank you, Ella. Awesome. Negative 3x minus 3h plus 1. Only now I can distribute that negative sign. What do I get? That's not a big deal. I get negative x squared minus 2xh minus h squared minus 3x minus 3h plus 1. All this replaces that. Piece number 1. All these 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms will be here, replacing this. Tell me when you're ready. It's just algebra. So now the difference quotient, can anyone dictate? Exactly. Okay. So now I reached this. But this needs to be distributed to these three terms. What will you write next?
Plus.
Very good. Plus x squared
Plus x squared
plus 3x
minus 1.
minus 1. For any function, every time we calculate the difference quotient, I'm going to write this down. Two things must happen. And this is the order, crucial order. All terms at the top that do not have h must go away. If they don't go away, we have a terrible error somewhere. Potentially, other terms may cancel out. I don't care, that's a bonus. But definitely, all terms without h from the top must go away, must cancel out with other terms. Also, the second thing after that, what is the second thing? This h from the denominator must simplify with an h from the top. Okay, so let's do this and then we'll write down those two conditions. Okay, so let's see. X squared with a negative x squared. Positive 3x with a negative 3x. Negative 1 with a positive 1. Did all terms without h go away? They did? Good. How many terms are left at the top? So the first condition is fulfilled, right? All terms without h went away. Good. So now, three terms at the top, what do they have in common? That's what we have to pull it out. Look what happens. Only now I can simplify the h from the top with an h from the bottom only after I factor. I cannot cross it out with some term at the top. So please tell me what is left and how many terms again? Very good. Awesome. And this is the final answer. Do not get surprised by the fact that there is still an h left in there. That's fine, but not this one. Not this one. So two things for any difference quotient for any function, right? Two things must happen. All terms without h must cancel at the top. At the top. And number two, what was the second one that we said must happen? H from the denominator must disappear somehow. Simplify. So one more time, two things have to happen. Number one, all terms for any difference quotient, any function, in other words, for any function, when you calculate the difference quotient, all terms without h must go away from the top, and h from the denominator must go away as well. Please choose another. '83. 83. Perfect. F of x, negative 2x squared plus 5x plus 7. And we're asked the same thing, to determine and simplify the difference quotient. The difference quotient will be given to you. You don't have to memorize it, but I want you to know where it's coming from. Difference quotient, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. Which of these three pieces we do not have and we need to calculate? Yes, we don't have it. And it's not easy to determine because it's a quadratic function. I have to plug in. I have to do the calculations on the side. So can anyone give us f of x plus h as the first step? Very good. Very good. Excellent. Remember, we cannot distribute in the first because there is a power, but we can distribute 5 in the second parenthesis. So first we have to square. So when we square, what do we get? Negative 2. 5x plus 5h and plus 7. And only now I can distribute a negative 2, and there is nothing else I can do. I just write negative 2x squared minus 4xh minus 2h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 7. I just want to remind you one thing. Homework is very important. Quizzes are very important. However, the most important thing for you is to redo the problems we do in class first. That's how you build your understanding. Before you do homework, please remember that. Okay, now we have all three pieces, sort of. You know what I mean. So now we can put them together. So the difference quotient. Can anyone dictate the top? Well, I have it right here. So negative 2x squared minus 4xh minus 2h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 7. So now we reached the negative sign that needs to be distributed to these three terms. And remember what has to happen. Can anyone refresh our memory on what has to happen? All terms without h must go away, so then we can pull out an h and eliminate the denominator. That's the bottom line. If we don't get that, we know something is wrong and we have to go back from scratch and start from scratch. Okay? So what will you say then? Yes. Yes? Yes. So that's why never trust Ella when she's good. I'm good. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, did I tell you that? One time I had the exact same situation. A student in the front row said I hate algebra, and then I turned to my student and I said, well, I'll give you 1 point extra credit if you'll say you love algebra. You know what happened then? At the same moment, everyone screamed at the top of their lungs. If we had rehearsed that, it would have, my knees were so bad I had to sit down for 5 minutes. It was just amazing. And everyone.
I don't really hate it.
I know you don't. I know. Okay, so my grandma used to say, do not ever hate anyone. So once they will end up, you will end up teaching math. If you hate something, you'll end up teaching math. Okay, so negative 7, positive 7, negative 5 with positive 5x. As expected, all terms without h are gone. Remember carefully, look at how many terms we have at the top so you don't make a mistake and miss one or disregard one. How many terms are left? Yes, and they all have h in common. They must, because all terms without h went away. So therefore, the remaining terms have to have h in common. So we pull out an h, and what happens next? Negative 4x, negative 2h, and plus 5. And that's the final answer. Negative 4x minus 2h plus 5.
So this is the rate of difference?
The rate of change, very good. Yes, between P and Q. So as you notice, it's a very good question. So what does this, again, what does it mean? What is the concept behind it? Here it is. Imagine that we are, let's say we are creating discs of metal. And we need to stay within a certain tolerance. So we don't want them to have too much error in the diameter. Okay, but error may happen. So that's why this is the x, the diameter, and x plus a little bit. So if a minor error happens in the radius or diameter in this case, what would be the error in the area? Yes, but what is it going to be? That's exactly what it is. And that's the rate of change of area with respect to a change in diameter. That's exactly what it is. Because as you notice, it was not x and x1 and x2. It was x and x plus a little bit. So for a minor error in x, there is a corresponding error in y. That's what it means. Okay, so I have 4 minutes left, and I'd like to start 2.3 and 2.4. These are both review, but I'll go over everything. It's all about lines. And let's just review the formulas and the equations that we need to know. Of course, we already used this one, which is the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We have y equals mx plus b, where b, remember, is 0 comma b to be exact, which is the y-intercept. And this is slope-intercept form. I like to call it y-intercept form because that's what it is. Then we have y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. Does anyone remember how the name of this one? Point slope, very good. Point slope form. Then we have 4 types of lines, and they have different slopes correspondingly. Okay, the first one, what type of slope is the first one? Remember, we had an example with the graph. Increasing, right? Increasing. So the slope is positive. Then obviously here the slope is negative. Good. The slope here is, yes, 0. And the slope here is undefined. It does not exist. Slope of a vertical line does not exist. We also have parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel. Doesn't really look parallel. Parallel. And this is perpendicular. 4 90-degree angles. What is the relationship between the two the slopes of lines that are parallel? They are the same. Very good. Perfect. Mandatory. They must be the same. If they are parallel, they have to have the same slope. What about this one? Do we remember the relationship? Here's how I like it. The product equals -1. You may remember it as m1 equals -1 over m2. But if you put m1 over 1, what do? You get this one. You cross multiply. Any questions? I don't have